Hi there, and welcome to the latest edition of the Around Table. I am your host, Steven, and today I'll be talking about some of the tracks I've been hearing off Bryan Adams' Pretty Woman, the musical soundtrack. I thought it was the original Broadway cast recording, but Bryan Adams has now recorded the songs off this soundtrack. I think it was in 2018. Him and Jim Valance composed about 16 tracks for the Pretty Woman musical. I don't think it lasted too long. I think it lasted about a year or so, and I didn't hear much of it besides that. I was curious to hear it, but since he wasn't singing on the soundtrack, I didn't really follow it too extensively. But I guess as he's gearing up to release his newest album, March 11th, there's So Happy It Hurts. I guess he's decided to record these and just develop some, I guess, interest or develop a need for Bryan Adams music or something. But so I started listening to these songs, and I quite enjoyed this album. It may be one of his better albums. I think he should actually release this as a full-fledged album. Composed of 16 tracks, I guess I mentioned, and they're co-written by Jim Valance, who used to him and Jim were like one of the greatest writing doers in the 80s. You know, with Bryan Adams' first few albums right up to, Into the Fire. I think Jim Valance was with him and produced most of his hits or co-wrote most of his hits with him, like, Summer of '69, Cuts Like a Knife, Run to You, you name it. They co-wrote it together at that time. They were unstoppable for a while. Then they kind of drifted apart. Then Jim Valance came back about, I think, like 10 years afterwards, something in the late '90s, and kind of dabbles one or two tracks off every Bryan Adams album. But this one, I think they're all together on 16 tracks. The ones I like the most is that there's a little rocker called I Can Get Used to This. Rodeo Drive is a nice little rocker too. Something About Her is a great, great ballad. He needs to release that as a single somewhere. Luckiest Girl in the World is pretty good as a piano-driven song. You Can't Go Back is another nice rocker, and Freedom is a mid-tempo acoustic number. Those are the ones that got to me. I really like those, and but overall, I think it's probably one of his stronger albums. And like I said, I'd like to see him release an official album with him singing these songs. I think he did well. I mean, maybe tweak them because they do sound they're made for a cheesy romantic movie. Nothing There's anything wrong with that, but maybe you can tweak it a bit and maybe sound a little bit more rockier or more Bryan Adams-esque as opposed to a musical. All in all, Bryan Adams, the Pretty Woman, the musical, is a pretty good listen. I mean, so far I've only heard it on YouTube. Again, I wish he'd make this a full-fledged album. I checked on his website. It is only the original Broadway cast recording, so it's everybody who was involved in the play singing these songs. Nothing against them, but I like Bryan Adams, so what I've heard off YouTube, I really enjoyed. Again, 16 tracks. I'm really happy that him and Jim Valance seem to be getting back together. They had a great chemistry, and this really shows on here. So hopefully they continue writing together, and I'd like to see more. Looking forward to his new album coming out March 11th called So Happy It Hurts. As you can see, I reviewed a couple of tracks. I really enjoyed them. I think it's going to be another winner for him. I think he's back on track. Kind of, I think some people think he stumbled a bit with the last album with Shine a Light. But this sounds more like Bryan Adams, and this musical, Pretty Woman musical, is not bad. And I think, again, I'll say it again, I think Bryan, if you're listening, anybody knows him, make the album, release it. Release it as a physical entity, and I'll pick it up, sounds good. Bryan, good job. This is Steve from the Roundtable saying, give it a whirl. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the new album. Let me know if you hear the songs. Let me know what your favorite Bryan Adams song is. Favorite album. I'd love to hear from you. We all love to hear from you. This is Steve from the Roundtable telling you, hit the like button, subscribe, write to us, stay in contact, live the dream.